I just saw a tweet that said that the middle class in the US would freak if they found out how the middle class in China live. And I honestly agree, and it kind of like sparked a thought in my head. I was thinking how everyone here in the US is trying to make as much money as possible so that we can be as free as possible, right? But the only way to do that, and the only way to be as free, is to make a disgusting amount of money. You have to at least probably make like 500,000 plus or 300,000 plus and up.
I've been living in China from the UK for 8 months now, and these are my top 3 things about China that I prefer to the UK and that I did not expect. Number 1 is how clean everything is. Shanghai, Beijing, everywhere in China is the cleanest cities in the world. You will not see a drop of rubbish, dog poo. It's so clean here. So much cleaner than the UK.
All right, let's talk cost of living in China. I lived there for 5 years in Shenzhen. Basically, it's impossible not to save money. And Chinese people, they'll save like 70-80% of their salary. I'm not kidding. When I lived in Shenzhen, 2017, I was paying 3250 RMB, which is about 500 bucks. 500 bucks, holy cow, that's so cheap. It's probably gone up about 50% since then, but nowhere near as expensive as Los Angeles or Chicago.
So I've just finished my 3rd day traveling around China, and it has more than lived up to my expectations. I feel like my expectations were not that high at all, and it has amazed me here. China is incredible. So first thing I've definitely noticed here in Guangzhou anyway, I felt so safe. Even on the streets at night, I felt super safe. I haven't felt like people are staring at me. Men like don't even look at you creepily or anything. They're literally just keeping to themselves. Like it's one of the safest places that I've felt. I don't feel like I need to hold my bag like I do in London. Like it's been
Imagine walking into a luxury high-rise apartment in one of the most expensive cities on Earth and realizing the rent is cheaper than a basic one-bedroom back in America. For so many Americans visiting China, this moment hits like a coma because nothing prepares them for the level of comfort, safety, and affordability they never thought was possible.
All right, let's talk cost of living in China. I lived there for 5 years in Shenzhen. Basically, it's impossible not to save money. And Chinese people, they'll save like 70-80% of their salary. I'm not kidding. When I lived in Shenzhen, 2017, I was paying 3250 RMB, which is about 500 bucks. 500 bucks, holy cow, that's so cheap. It's probably gone up about 50% since then, but nowhere near as expensive as Los Angeles or Chicago. And then I lived in this place in the suburbs for 900 RMB a month. It's like 120 bucks. Food is so cheap. If you cook yourself, I mean, you might spend maybe $100 a month. A local restaurant will probably cost 20, 25 RMB. 7 to 1 is the breakdown, so maybe 3 or 4 bucks. Western food gets expensive, and alcohol is very expensive there. Going out to like the cool spots, the malls, those are expensive. Places are boring though. Transportation, super cheap. Train rides are the best. Super comfy, super clean, super fast. I love going on train rides. They're taxis, or they call Didi, like Uber. Affordable. Subway's super cheap, super nice, super calm, super efficient, super good. Imported stuff, that's very expensive, but you can usually get like a secondhand iPhone. Mine costs like 1400 RMB. There's a couple $100. Another good thing is there's no taxes there. They're not going to withhold anything from your paycheck. You don't have to pay at the end of the year, or at least I didn't. I didn't know anybody else who did. When I first got there, I was teaching 5 days a week. My salary covered everything. Then when I stuck out on my own, I was really only working 2 days a week on Saturday and Sunday, and I was working all day long. But that paid for my rent, my food, my everything. Savings were growing. And then during the week, I was doing my entrepreneurial thing. It's basically impossible not to save money there.
I just saw a tweet that said that the middle class in the US would freak if they found out how the middle class in China live. And I honestly agree, and it kind of like sparked a thought in my head. I was thinking how everyone here in the US is trying to make as much money as possible so that we can be as free as possible, right? But the only way to do that, and the only way to be as free, is to make a disgusting amount of money. You have to at least probably make like 500,000 plus or 300,000 plus and up to go on yearly vacations, to take some time off, to have savings. And that's just not attainable, obviously, for most of people. But it's crazy how in other countries, and I'm from Germany, where you don't have to make a fraction of that money to be nearly as happy. Or your money has more value and like you get way more stuff for your taxes. I don't know, it just makes you think like how people are brainwashed here.
The shock usually begins immediately after landing. Americans expect China to be expensive simply because big cities like Shanghai and Shenzhen look wealthier, shinier, and more futuristic than anything they've experienced. But then they start buying basic things, water, snacks, subway tickets, and the numbers don't make sense. 50 cents for high-quality street food? $1 to ride an immaculate subway system? Entire meals for under $4? It creates a strange emotional conflict. In the US, everything feels like a battle. Rent, groceries, transportation, even coffee. But in China, Americans suddenly feel their money stretching in ways they never imagined. And for many visitors, that feeling becomes addictive, almost healing. I remember overhearing a couple from New York whispering in disbelief after ordering full plates of dumplings, noodles, and vegetables for less than the price of a single fast food meal back home. The affordability isn't just financial, it's psychological. It challenges everything Americans believe about expensive countries and cheap countries. China flips this completely. You're standing in a global tech powerhouse, surrounded by hypermodern buildings, yet spending less than you would in a rural American town. The contrast is so intense that many Americans genuinely don't know how to process it.
So I just ordered some groceries to my apartment in China. It took about 30 minutes for them to get here. Total cost 76 RMB, which is a little under $11. I already had this stuff back here, but I got some bananas, chili flakes, some cooking wine, which I think was the most expensive thing that I bought, some kimchi, pickles, 2 packs of mushrooms, some broccoli, chicken, tofu, and a potato pillar. Total for everything that I have bought for my apartment so far, including everything on my counter, everything in my fridge, everything that I've already eaten, which I think is probably 6 bananas and some shrimp. I also got some soap to wash dishes. Everything that I've gotten so far cost me $48. This is including delivery. I got everything delivered.
So I've just finished my 3rd day traveling around China, and it has more than lived up to my expectations. I feel like my expectations were not that high at all, and it has amazed me here. China is incredible. So first thing I've definitely noticed here in Guangzhou anyway, I felt so safe. Even on the streets at night, I felt super safe. I haven't felt like people are staring at me. Men don't even look at you creepily or anything. They're literally just keeping to themselves. It's one of the safest places that I've felt. I don't feel like I need to hold my bag like I do in London. It's been amazing. Number 2, the shopping is insane. 1, bring your money, but you don't need too much because it's actually so cheap. And 2, do not pack too many clothes. I just got about 7 items for 350 Australian, and the quality is so good. If you're a man, the quality is even better. If you're shopping for your boyfriend, I have never seen t-shirts this nice. And the third massive thing I've noticed about China is that it's actually so affordable. Getting DDs, I got a car 30 minutes to get back to the hotel today. It cost me $12. If you don't eat at really fancy places, it can cost you 20 Australian dollars for a meal, starter, entree, drink. The shopping was super cheap, as I said as well, and hotels are not crazy prices. We're staying in Shanghai tomorrow for 300 Australian dollars each for 3 nights in a 5-star hotel. That is so affordable. When I was looking in places like Hong Kong, Tokyo, that would get you literally a sleeping pod. Anyway, I just can't believe we're all sleeping on China as a travel destination. I'm only here for 10 days and I think I need to come back. There's so much to do and see. Bye!
The coma moment usually comes during the apartment tour. Americans visit friends, expats, or Airbnb units in major Chinese cities expecting something small and cramped. But what they walk into looks like the kind of apartment influencers in Los Angeles pay $4,500 a month for. Except in China, the same apartment might be $800 to $1,200. We're talking marble floors, purified drinking water systems built into the tap, heated bathroom tiles, fingerprint door locks, massive windows, modern appliances, brand new air filtration systems, and building amenities that would be considered luxury add-ons in the United States. One American expat in Shenzhen said he felt physically sick after calculating how much he wasted on rent in the US. He had spent years working overtime to afford a 1-bedroom with no amenities. In China, he suddenly had a gym, security, a rooftop garden, and a modern, spotless apartment, and still saved money. For many Americans, this is the moment they realize the US housing crisis is not normal. It's a choice, one they've been paying the price for.
Okay, so this is my journey as a black man living in China for the last 5 years, and I'm going to break down how easy life is in China. So number 1, the cost of living. I say this all the time. I don't know why people don't believe me, but in China, you do not pay a lot of money to rent an apartment. You don't need a high credit score, you need to pay all these fees, and they don't care about proof of income. Every single apartment that I rented, they never asked me for proof of income. No credit score, no hidden fees, no high deposits, and no proof of income. You can be piss poor, but if you pay the rent on time, they don't care. Let's stick to the cost of living. Once you move in, you pay your deposit, everything is there. Refrigerator, washer, couch, TV, bed, everything is there. You literally move into a brand new apartment with everything fully furnished. I was sleeping very well, knowing that I didn't have to worry about no credit score, no proof of income. My apartment wasn't butt naked. My apartment complex in China had over 4,000 people. Do you know there's no pet fees in China? The community that I lived in, they never charged for pet fees. Everybody had cats and dogs. They had play areas for the dogs. Just imagine, you got 4,000 people in one area and they all have pets. You can easily charge them 20 a month, 15 a month. It's going to add up. But they avoided that. They don't charge. Think about it. You get an apartment, no proof of income, no credit score, low deposit, fully furnished, no pet fee. Think about how much peace would you have in China.
I've been living in China from the UK for 8 months now, and these are my top 3 things about China that I prefer to the UK and that I did not expect. Number 1 is how clean everything is. Shanghai, Beijing, everywhere in China is the cleanest cities in the world. You will not see a drop of rubbish, dog poo. It's so clean here. So much cleaner than the UK. Number 2 is how safe it is. I live in a nice, quiet neighborhood in the UK, and I not walk by myself as a female at night just because I don't feel safe. In Shanghai, after work, like 11 p.m, I'll go for a walk by myself as a girl, and it's so safe. Like, safety is not even a consideration here. Number 3 is how convenient everything is. In Shanghai, people think it's crazy if you cook dinner because you can order food for like super great prices and you can order it anywhere you want. You can be in one cafe and order a drink from another cafe, or you can be out with your friends and need some medicine and you can just get the medicine delivered to the cafe. Or you're in work, you forgot your socks, I don't know, you can just get your socks delivered to work. I've been at my friend's birthday before, or on my way to my friend's birthday dinner, and then got a card delivered to the dinner. Like, it's so convenient. So these are my top 3: safe, clean, and convenient.
What surprises Americans the most is that luxury in China isn't only for the rich. Basic public life feels luxurious compared to America. The transportation system alone is enough to convert people. Clean subways that arrive every 3 minutes. Bullet trains that glide across the entire country. High-end public restrooms. Safe, quiet streets at night. Even grocery shopping feels different. Fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, dozens of delivery options, all at prices that feel frozen in time. Americans often describe it as living in the future, but cheaper than the past. One American teacher shared that the first time she ordered groceries online in China, she thought the app had glitched because the total bill was so low. Another expat said he lives better on a teacher's salary in China than he ever lived as a high-earning professional in the US. The bigger realization hit slowly. In America, basic comfort is treated like a luxury. In China, it's considered a standard part of life. And once Americans experience it, going back becomes almost impossible.
All right, so I already showed you the outside of the apartment complex here in China. Now I'm about to show you what the inside look like. So I'm on the very top level, floor 34. All right, so here's the front door, but let me show you something cool. There's no keys here. You just gotta use either the keypad or you use your fingerprint to get in. And as soon as you walk in, you're greeted by a lovely living room. As you can see, it's pretty modern, and mind you, this is the capital city of one of the poorest provinces in China. Like, just take a look at this light. You can see the craftsmanship, the design that they put into the apartment. I'm gonna show y'all everything, but then I want y'all to guess how much you think this apartment costs per month. So here's a little desk, you know, nothing too crazy, something I use to work. But you can also turn it into a dining table. There's extra chairs here. Comes with this little table right here, you know. Actually, not a little table, it's pretty big, but you can do what you want with it. Put it to the side, put it in the middle right here if you want to. Comes with a little stool. And everything I'm showing you comes included, like everything. All of this stuff comes with the apartment. You got a really nice leather family section couch here. As you can see, it's a very big couch. Mind you, I'm 6'7". Like, when I lay down on it, like fully flat, I probably only take up 3/4 of the couch. Look at these lights, man. They look like stars above your head. But, you know, Chinese don't get a lot of credit for their, you know, design, interior design, but these are nice lights. Almost looks like a chandelier. Comes with another nice little table here, TV included. And now I'm about to show you the balcony. So here's a look at the balcony and the view. Absolutely crazy. Like I said, this is the top floor. You see all the other apartments here. We're extremely high. I'm scared of heights, but I'm gonna give y'all a look. Has a little playground down here. Area for people to walk, exercise. And yeah, it's just like a whole big community. You know, like even there in the distance, more playgrounds and stuff down there, shops, stores. There's a little place for you to hang your clothes if you want to dry your clothes outside. This apartment is a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. Here's the master bedroom. It's pretty big. Comes with the bed, comes with the mattress, comes with the closets. Like I said, it comes with everything. You get your own little view here with this window. And these apartments get real nice, you know. These really look like condos. Like these my neighbors here across. You can just see how huge their balconies are. They're like patios. But these definitely cost a little bit more than the one I'm in. But when I tell you the price, it's well worth it. Here's bedroom number 2. A bit more of the same. Comes with your own closet, bed, little view. Nice, simple, clean. You know, I like it. And here's the little sink area. It's kind of separated. But as you can see, nice, clean, simple. You can have all your stuff here. Mirror, light. Here's a look at the shower. It's not too crazy, but, you know, has a nice big shower head. Another smaller shower head. You know, tiles. Tiled floor, window. Now here's the main balcony, essentially the third one. Just how huge it is. All this space. And then you have an amazing view. An absolutely amazing view. Got some mountaineers in the distance. Like I said, this province is known for its nature. So all these buildings are in the midst of just a bunch of nature, trees. It's crazy. All right, so here's a look at the kitchen. You got the refrigerator, which comes included. Like I said, everything comes included. Nice little stove area. Doesn't look too crazy. It's simple, nice. But when I tell you the price, it's well worth it. Trust me. Got the sink here. And here, washing machine, wash your clothes. All right, so everything I just showed you is 2,000 yen a month, which is approximately $280. Crazy. And the utilities are extremely cheap as well. Like water, electricity is only going to cost you about max $50 a month. So yeah, when it comes to getting an apartment here in China, it's definitely top tier.
I live in China. Guess how much it costs to rent a 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, furnished, in an apartment like this? Go ahead, take a guess. Building like this, $450 US. I lived in Utah. I was paying $2,200 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. I also lived in New York City for a bit. We were paying $3,400 US for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. This is a nice neighborhood, beautiful walking trails, gated, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, furnished apartment, $450 a month. This is in like outside of Shanghai. It's called Nantong. It's about a tier 3, tier 2 between tier 4, depending on who you ask. That's another story. Yeah, living in China can be very affordable. We have everything we need here. It's beautiful, it's safe, delicious food. The people are amazing. The culture is rich and deep. So many interesting things to see and do. If you're interested in China, check my link in bio and please like and follow to see more China content. Me and my family, we live here and we love it. Try to make content every day. Thanks.
The financial shock is powerful, but the emotional shock goes even deeper. Many Americans say the first thing they notice is how safe they feel in China. Women can walk at 2 a.m. alone without constantly checking over their shoulder. Parents relax on public transportation. Kids run around freely. For Americans, this sense of physical security is almost unreal. Back home, everything feels unpredictable. Crime, homelessness, drug use, aggressive behavior. In China, safety is woven into the everyday fabric of life. It's not perfect, of course, but the difference in atmosphere is so extreme that many Americans say it changes their entire nervous system. I remember a conversation with a Black American expat who told me that in the US, he feels like he's constantly performing, careful about how he's perceived, always aware of stereotypes. In China, he said he felt invisible in the best way, simply a person moving through the world without assumptions or tension. The emotional peace, combined with affordable living, makes the decision to stay in China feel less like a lifestyle choice and more like a survival strategy.
Do you want to know what is my favorite thing when I was visiting China? It was the transportation. I'll give you an example, okay? And my God, once you experience it, you can't unexperience it. So you probably use Uber or Lyft, right? And, you know, they're quite expensive these days. Like for me, when I go to the airport, it's $65 to go to the airport, just the Uber X, you know, the most basic. And if you want my family and you get an extra large one, it's $100 basically to the airport. And even when back in the days when Uber was pretty cheap, it was still like $50. In China, keep in mind, like obviously there's exchange rate, cost of living and all that stuff, but like it's dirt cheap. So when I was in China visiting, we just Uber everywhere. In China, there's like multiple Uber kind of company, but the big one's called Didi. So you open your app, you ask Didi, and there are really essentially three options. One is like your basic, like Uber X, some guy shows up, and then there's premium, which is really premium because the guy shows up in a white shirt and white gloves. Like they have to wear white gloves. Like it's a white glove service, you know, black pants, sometimes with a jacket, black jacket. So that's premium. And then there is luxury, which is different. I'll talk about luxury in a bit. But so I was doing premium everywhere I went, and my rides never went over, and I go everywhere with the kids and everything, went over more than $3. It was ridiculously cheap, like 3 USD, right? Like 20 yuan or so. And you know, it's about 10, 15 minutes ride. Even the long ones, it was like maybe 4 yuan, you know? And it's like premium service. As an electric car shows up, because like 90% of the cars there are electric. So it's like a Tesla Model S sedan, but like not Tesla, but like nicer actually. It's a Chinese brand, usually BYD or like a Zeekr. Anyways, they're all really nice. One of them had like a screen in the back, and my son was watching Paw Patrol. It was ridiculous. We couldn't leave that Uber ride. Anywho, but like super cheap, right? $3, $4 you get everywhere, and it was instant. Like I never had to be like, oh, I need to call the Uber. Then we got to run downstairs. Like no, like let's get downstairs, and you'll be there in like a second, and it just shows up, you know. And you can even get even cheaper because you can get the basic one, where it's like kind of a non-premium car comes in, and that's usually like $1.50, you know. I did it a couple times, but then it kind of smelled like smoke sometimes. So I'm like, man, no more. Especially with me with kids. It was just me. I didn't care, you know. It was still like a nice car, like a hybrid car shows up. But like, my God, it was so good, and so cheap and so like affordable. I even tried the luxury, which I was like, all right, what's luxury? It was like a little bit more. It was like $10 to do an Uber ride. And I did it one night because I was pretty tipsy. I was like, I'm gonna treat myself. I'm gonna spend $10 on the way home to our hotel today. And a brand new BMW, I think it was the i5 electric car, brand new, shows up. The lady was like, she had these white gloves on, had a hat on. It was like a personal chauffeur. It was just showed up. I was like, damn, all right, totally worth the $7 extra, you know, because I was paying premium at the time. But man, go to China, the transportation, freaking awesome. But at the same time, like, you gotta understand, like, public transportation is very cheap, so like it's a treat for yourself, you know, to do like Uber or Didi, because like subway gets you everywhere, and it's like, you know, 50 cents. If you take the bus, it's even cheaper, like 20 or 34 cents, whatever it is. Anyways, now you know, gotta try the Didi service.
This is the craziest thing. Ni hao. Yeah.
您久等了，
谢谢。
在屏幕上点击关门按钮。是我见过全宇宙最可爱的人。
谢谢。OK， 拜拜拜。
会为您带来一个世纪的好心情。别忘记给我一个大大好评。我会继续努力的。
There's always a moment, after weeks or months, when Americans realize they've stopped missing the United States. Not because they don't care about their home, but because China gives them something America hasn't given them in years: stability. Bills don't feel like a death sentence. Rent doesn't consume their income. Food isn't a luxury. Public transportation works. Safety isn't a gamble. Life feels manageable. And the biggest shock? They realize this advanced lifestyle doesn't require being wealthy. It's available to normal working people. For many Americans, this realization creates a deep emotional conflict. America is supposed to be the land of opportunity. Yet, they feel more hope, more freedom, and more comfort in China, a country they were raised to underestimate.
You guys want to know what the hospitals in China look like? Well, I'm here, so I'll show you. So when you first walk in, you're greeted by the machines. You have all of the directions here, and then you're met by the front counter where you got to do basic paperwork, and then you wait in this line. So currently waiting in line, and we got to submit this paperwork that we just filled out. All right, so we're submitting the paperwork right now, and they're reviewing it. Look how nice you guys, super clean, not too busy. I kind of came a little late, so it's lunchtime, so there's not very many people. You got the injection and infusion room, chest pain center, stroke center, and now we're here checking in. Pretty good. All right, so now I'm headed to the ER section and the beds. All right, so they currently did some testing on me. Now I'm about to get my blood drawn. All right, you guys, I just got my blood drawn. This is what they give you. You can't really record in here, so we're trying to sneak. All right, you guys, so I'm currently getting some chest testing done and my blood drawn, but you can't really record in here. So we're trying to obviously sneak it a little bit, but I just want to show you guys a couple of these things. Crazy how they don't even give you a Band-Aid. They just give you 2 cotton swabs. All right, one thing I've noticed is that the testings are all super fast, minimal wait times. I just got my heart tested, blood drawn, paperwork, all done in 5-10 minutes. All right, now we're walking outside of the hospital. CT MRI. The CT MRI is where we need to go. So now just walking to a different part of the hospital for more testing. This is the outside of the building. We're going in here now. My blood was already drawn, so they're testing that. For those that don't know, they give you a little card when you check in. This is for all like your payments and how they track you. And then these are my heart results. We're about to go in here now. We're going in that machine. I didn't show you guys this, but this is what you walk through to get in. And this is the hospital. A lot of buildings. It's gonna be an hour before I get all my results back, so I'm about to go get some food. Outside is busy. We're about to get some food though. All right, so I had to go there because I've been having some chest pain, so I wanted to get my blood drawn and do some testing. But here are some key takeaways from it. The service was super fast, super efficient. Everything was very modern, very clean inside. Everything, all of my testing was like 80 roughly USD, so very, very affordable. The turnaround for most of the testing is super fast, almost immediate. Other testing is literally less than an hour. And it was staffed very well, no shortages on nurses, doctors, or specialty physicians. All in all, I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was just a glimpse of what the Chinese hospitals look like here. I could only record so much, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. Peace. Now we eat.
Once Americans experience the cost of living in China, the safety, the comfort, the advanced technology, and the everyday dignity, it becomes impossible to forget. They return home with a new perspective, one that forces them to reevaluate what they were taught about success, comfort, and what it means to live well. And for many, the truth is simple. They didn't fall in love with China because it's perfect. They fell in love because, for the first time in a long time, life finally felt affordable, peaceful, and human.